I forgot to do an intro for this video. Also, face reveal. Wow, I'm crazy. So basically, I just went over all of the books I physically own that I have not read yet, and it's decently lengthy. Maybe not as long as some people's, but it's still a big task for me that I don't know how long it will take me to complete. So, yeah. It looks so sad. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a little bit absurd, but these are all the books here. Okay, so real quick, we're just gonna count all the books. So let's go. Okay, so we have 25 unread books on my shelf, and a lot more that I want to read, but these are the ones that I own and that I have not read. All of these are in my eventual, TBR. It's weird seeing them all here. I'm so used to seeing them on the shelf, but, as you guys can see, the shelf is pretty sparse without the books I haven't read yet. So I haven't read as much as I really thought I have, but what are you gonna do about it? Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this pile in no particular order. I'm gonna start with this pile. This was from mostly my bottom shelf stuff, so I will go through that. So first we have Sometimes a Great Notion. This is by Ken Kesey, who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that book quickly became one of my favorites ever. One of my favorite books of all time. And so Kesey became one of my favorite authors of all time. Really good book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I really, really like it. It is one of my favorite books ever. And so a lot of people say this book is just as good, or some people even say it's better than One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it's so much longer too. It is like 600 pages of Ken Kesey. Like I'm gonna take that in the cover. Look at the cover. Oh, most of the covers online were like crap. But this one, it's like an old Penguin copy of it, and I actually love this cover so much. I'm really excited to read this one. I think I'm gonna read it pretty soon, probably. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's about this logging family, and so I'm really excited to see what this one has to offer, especially because I freaking love Ken Kesey, dude. Okay, next we got The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've heard a lot about this book specifically. People love this book. Donna Tartt is the author of The Goldfinch, and a lot of people like that. My girlfriend surprised me for this on my birthday. I had mentioned it like once and then forgotten about it. And she picked it up and she got it for me, and it was very sweet. I was very happy about that. Pretty excited to read this one. Don't actually know what it's about. I just heard it's dark academia, so college stuff. But it's decently long, actually. It's pretty long. Like, it doesn't look that long, but it's almost 550 pages. The pages are super, super thin. But I've heard this book is excellent, so pretty excited to read it. Pretty excited to check it out. Don't know when I'm going to read it, but at some point. So next up, I got this book yesterday, actually. I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban, but I'm technically supposed to read 5 books before I can buy more, but I keep breaking my own rule. My mom was at Goodwill, and I told her, like, dude, if you see any good books, FaceTime me. So she FaceTimed me, and they had a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I've heard it's great, and that is, you've probably heard of it, The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien. I've heard this is like the best war novel ever. So yeah, I want to read it. I heard Bryan Cranston did an audiobook of it or something, so gotta check that out. I'm probably not gonna listen to the audiobook, but I was reading quotes of this morning, like from this book, and people were tweaking out about how good this book is. So excited to check this one out. I might read it pretty soon, honestly, because it's pretty short, about 230 pages, and I've heard it's great. So okay, next up we have, if you guys have watched my channel, my 4 videos on here, so many, then you might know that I kind of like Cormac McCarthy. That's The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I have a really interesting thing I want to say about The Road, because someone commented and they were like, dude, you got to read The Road, it's great. And I've heard The Road is great. A lot of people really like The Road. A lot of people read it for school. We didn't read it for school for me. My class didn't get it. But this is about an apocalypse and a father and a son through a post-apocalyptic America. and I've heard great things about it. It's Cormac McCarthy. I love Cormac McCarthy. So Road is probably pretty good. However, I heard somewhere, it was in like a comment section somewhere. It was literally one comment, and I've let this freaking comment like rule how I read Cormac McCarthy books, which is The Road is an amalgamation of all of Cormac's work. And so now I'm like, I should read The Road last. Like, I should read all of Cormac McCarthy's other books and then read The Road. So that's what I've been doing. I've read Blood Meridian. I've read all of the Border trilogy except for the next one, which I'm about to talk about, and No Country for Old Men. So I think after I finish the Border trilogy, I'm going to finally read The Road. And I'm hoping that comment was right, but even if it wasn't, I mean, hopefully it's still good. Another Cormac McCarthy book is Cities of the Plain. This is the third book in the Border trilogy. The Border trilogy has been something I've been reading for a little bit. The Crossing is the second book in that book series. I have a whole video about that. That one was a little bit of a tough one. That just was a tough one to get through, man. But I've heard William Dozier say, or Dozier, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. He has said that this book is great, like absolutely fantastic. And I'm really excited to read this one because I know it brings together the two stories of The Crossing and All the Pretty Horses into one. And so I'm hyped. I'm really hyped to see how that goes. So I'm probably going to read this one decently soon. Okay, next up we have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But my brother read this book and he said it was excellent. He said it was really good. I think it's about two people during World War II. One of them is like deaf or blind. Honestly, I know nothing about it. It is a freaking hefty one. How many pages is this? Yeah, 531 pages. This is a fat boy. You could hurt someone with this. It won the Pulitzer Prize, so it means it's probably pretty good, I guess. But yeah, my girlfriend picked this up for me at this like coffee shop book swap thing. So many thanks. Next one we have. Oh my gosh, well, I'm saving this big pile. Oh God. Okay. Actually, no, I'm ripping off the Band-Aid. Next up we have Gone with the Wind. This is a hefty freaking book. 1,000-page novel here. No, sorry. 950-page novel by Margaret Mitchell. This is apparently incredible. Ian Googley said it was really good, and I like his opinion, so I bought the book. I found the exact copy he got, because I'm a copier, I'm a poser, but I saw it at a bookstore. There was like 5 copies of Gone with the Wind, and they all had these like not raunchy, but just kind of like this corny old cover, and I really like this cover, and then I found it there, and I was like, yes! So I got it, and it's got some coffee stains on it, but I don't really care. I don't know when I'm going to read this, to be honest, because it's so freaking long. I don't even know what it's about, really. It's about the South, and it's during the Civil War, I believe. Heard it's a great romance book, and I'm excited to read it at some point. Not soon. I genuinely don't know when I'm going to read this one. So, at some point, though. Also another Pulitzer Prize winner. Okay. This next one is... you'll know what I'm talking about. We have The Stand by Stephen King. I have read, I think, 4 Stephen King books, and I love Stephen King already. But I'm scared, man. He's threatening me. He's freaking me out. Look at that. He's freaking... I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that guy. This is a massive book, dude. This is over 1,000 pages. It's an epic about a disease that wiped out like 99% of the population, and it's about the aftermath, I guess. I've really tried to not hear anything about The Stand. I don't want any spoilers. My brother got it spoiled, and he was like, dude, you're gonna love it. He's like, it sounds insane, and it sounds like insane that you're gonna really like. So this is a fat book, dude. Like, this is huge. This is massive. So I don't know when I'm gonna read this. I kind of want to read it soon, but I have this inkling that I want to do the same thing I did with Cormac, where I read more Stephen King books before I dive into what some people consider his best book. But I'm excited to read The Stand at some point. I'm really hoping... just got the thumbnail shot. I had to do it. I'm pretty confident it's going to be good because everyone has said it's good. But yeah, hopefully The Stand lives up to the hype I don't know when I'm going to read it, dude. I kind of want to read it soon, but I also kind of want to wait. And it's so long, I'm scared to read it. Because the longest book I read is Lonesome Dove. That book was incredible. It's really good. One of my favorite books. But, man, it was like 900 pages. And I'm afraid of reading a bad long book. Although I don't see how this book could be bad. So, hopefully it's good. It probably will be. Okay, next up. This is a completely random one, but this is The Narrowback. I've literally never heard of this book, and my mom literally whipped it out of her closet. Apparently, she was friends with a friend who knew the author of this book, I guess. So I have no idea what it's about. She just gave it to me, and I was like, I might read it at some point, and I might read it at some point. Not anytime soon, probably, but this is just a random one that I literally don't know anything about, except that I guess supposedly we kind of know the author. So, boom. Next up, we got a little bit of some Russian literature going here, and that is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry. Heralded, one of the best books ever. Really, do I need to say more? It's Crime and Punishment. Everyone knows Crime and Punishment. Or not. I didn't know it for a while, actually. This got a little freaking baby-ass font, dude. So it's going to be a little bit of a long one, 500 pages, 1800s author. So I know if I'm reading this. I also got the Constance Garnett translation. I read a million Reddit posts about which translation to get, and they were like, you gotta do this, I was like, bro, I'm just going with the default. I know some people say it's not the best, but I'm hoping it's honestly, I think it'll be fine. I hope it will. I like this cover. I'm going to be real. That's the main reason I got this translation. I mean, you can make fun of me, but I like the cover for this one a lot. And the other ones I didn't really like that much. I was like, I'm going to get this one. So we're going to read this at some point. Probably make a video about just reading Dostoevsky. But I'm not really... I don't know if I'm planning on reading this bad boy soon, because this is a big task. This is a big task right here. But an even bigger task, really, is the brothers Karamazov, the Karamazov brothers. This thing is fat. It's also by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This thing is, oh my god. It's huge, dude. It is huge. The font is also slightly ridiculously small. But a lot of people say this is one of the best books ever. So I guess it's required reading for me. I'm honestly terrified to read this freaking 900-page beast. Because it's... Dude, there's so much going on. It's just Crime and Punishment level of difficulty, but just times 10. So I'm a little scared. I know a lot of people do... It's torn between which book is better, Crime and Punishment and Brothers Karamazov. But these are both heralded as best books ever. So we'll see about that. We'll see if little old me agrees with that. Okay. This is ridiculous. I don't know why I did this. This is the really long book section, if you couldn't tell. But I guess I hate myself. When I unwrapped this for my birthday, my dad was so angry about the length of this book. He was like, that is the dumbest book I've ever seen. And it was pretty funny. I'm going to be real. This is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Do I need to say more? I guess I got a little smarter with my translation choices here. I got the Robin Buss translation because I heard that was the best one. And also the Penguin paperback bound. Pretty cool, pretty fat ass book over here. 1,000... Jesus Christ. 1,200 pages. People say somehow that this book is insanely readable and that it's actually really entertaining the entire time, which blows my mind because this is a freaking 1800s book, probably hardish diction, and 1,200 pages. I don't understand how this book is readable, but people say it is. A lot of people do. A lot of people, it's Ian Gooble's favorite book, tied with the standards. I mean, I've never heard of a person who read The Count of Monte Cristo and was like, bro, that book was ass. Everyone has liked it, and I'm horrified. I'm actually horrified to read this beast. I don't know why I keep buying 1,000-page, freaking 800 to 1,000-page epics, and then being too afraid to read them. Like, I need to actually just dive into this at some point. If I read this, rest assured, there will be a video about it, because I'm not reading a 1,000-page book and not milking a freaking video out of it. Come on. But yeah, this is the tale of wrongful imprisonment of our boy. I don't know his name because I haven't read the book. But it's about revenge, and yeah, that's all I know about it, because I've tried to avoid spoilers. I quickly forgot. I'm going to run through real quick. The Karamazov brothers is a murder mystery, I believe, about a family and these three brothers. I think their father was murdered and they're trying to figure it out. That's literally all I know. Again, I avoided spoilers for this one too. And I forgot to say that Crime and Punishment is about a dude who thinks he can commit a crime of murdering someone, and about what happens afterwards. So that's all I know too. The crime and the punishment. Boom. Shakalaka. Okay. Next up here. This is a small addiction of mine. It's a big addiction of mine. I have an obsession with Larry McMurtry. I read Lonesome Dove, and ever since then, I'm thirsty. Hold on. I'm thirsty. Guys, this is a reminder to drink your water, because hydration is important, and don't die, guys. It's summertime. I sound like a gerbil. It's okay. Larry McMurtry, after I read Lonesome Dove, I fell in love with him as an author. I've read Terms of Endearment, All My Friends Are Gonna Be Strangers, and Horsemen Pass By. I'm obsessed with Larry McMurtry to the point where basically anytime I saw Larry McMurtry, I bought him. I call this, right, and this is not even including the Larry McMurtry books I've read, the Larry McMurtry stack, right? This is chronic. This is actually chronic. Don't forget the last one here, Rhino Ranch. This is chronic freaking Larry McMurtry behavior, but we're going to run through the stack here, okay? I'm not going to go too into depth because there's way too many Larry McMurtry books here. I've had to physically stop myself from buying more. I saw like 3 Larry McMurtry books I didn't own yesterday. I was like, I have to buy them all. But I stopped myself because I was like, that's not a good idea, Nathan. Okay. Oh my god. This is bad. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Lonesome Dove sequels, because Lonesome Dove's the most popular Larry McMurtry thing. So first off, we have The Streets of Loretto, and this is the direct sequel to Lonesome Dove. I literally know nothing about what it's about. Decently long. What is it? 535 pages. And this little kangaroo classic pocket book style. I only buy Larry McMurtry books in this style if I can. But I don't know if I'm going to read this anytime soon. I'm afraid it's not going to be as good as Lonesome Dove, because there's no way it can be. And I'm afraid it'll like ruin it for me. I don't think it will. But I want to continue to digest Lonesome Dove, even though it's been 6 months since I read it. But I definitely intend to read this at some point soon. Why is my camera's beeping? It's overheating. Let's take a break, guys. Okay, so my battery overheated, or my camera overheated just a little bit. Anyways, we were talking about Streets of Loretto. I think this is, in this one, Cal from Lonesome Dove becomes like a bounty hunter, I think. I don't really know. I heard the sequels are a little more goofy than the first book, but I don't care, man. Larry McMurtry's a funny author. So that's the first one. And then we have Comanche Moon by Larry McMurtry. This is the... Okay, so how it went was there's Lonesome Dove, there was a sequel, and then there's 2 prequels. This is the second prequel. I don't have the first prequel, which is Dead Man's Walk, because I can't freaking find it in the kangaroo style. They have all of the Lonesome Dove books are like this in the kangaroo style, but they have the title here, they have his name there, and then they have the little piece of the picture of the cover there. But the only one that breaks this freaking mold is Dead Man's Walk. The kangaroo one they have is this ugly photo from the TV show. And it's like, oh, what? They ruined it. And I'm trying to find something, anything close, but I don't think it exists. And it makes me so sad, because I want my Lonesome Dove books to all look in unison, but that's okay. This one, I don't know what this is about. This is just about, I know it's about Gus and Cal in their, Texas Ranger days, something like that. I heard these ones are kind of young adult-esque, but gotta read these at some point. This book is long, bro. This book is like 800 pages, almost as long as Lonesome Dove, but I don't know. Larry McMurtry writes a lot of long books. Speaking of long books, Moving On by Larry McMurtry. This is a beast of a book. What is this? Jesus. 850 pages. Well, why do I keep buying long books? I don't know. Anyways, this is the first book in his Houston series, which is a series of basically revolving characters. The stories are different, but the characters intersect, and side characters from one book might be a main character of another. Pretty cool. I've read 2 books in this series. All My Friends Are Going to Be Strangers and Terms of Endearment. I read it out of order because it doesn't really need to be read in order. And so I need to read the first book now because I've read books 1 and 3, but I haven't read book 1. And this is about Patsy Carpenter. She is a character that is in Terms of Endearment. She's Emma's friend in that book. And this is about her marriage. And it's basically an 800-page book about a failed marriage. Larry McMurtry is really good at writing marriages and relationships. On Terms of Endearment, he wrote this terrible decline of a marriage in Terms of Endearment, and it was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever read. It was brutal. So I'm excited to also make myself feel like shit and read Moving On because I love sad books. So Larry McMurtry knows how to do sad stuff, man. Terms of Endearment made me cry. It was I don't typically cry, but that book made me cry because it was really sad. Anyways, I'm excited to read Moving On at some point. I'm scared of this book, honestly. Okay, continuing in the Murtry stack, we have Some Can Whistle. This is a beat-up ass copy. I got this for like $1 at some used bookstore. I love getting used books. This follows Danny Deck, which is the main character from All My Friends Are Going to Be Strangers, which is the second book in the Houston series. And I'm really excited to read this because I read the first line and it talks about something that happened in All My Friends Are Going to Be Strangers, and now I'm hyped. However, this is the 5th book, I believe, in the Houston series. There's 4th book that I don't own, which is, I think it's Somebody's Darling. So I kind of want to read that one before I read this one, but I really want to read this one because Danny Deck, I've already read about him before. So I guess this is maybe like a soft sequel to All My Friends Are Going to Be Strangers. Not really sure. Okay. Next up here, I've heard this book is phenomenal. That is The Last Picture Show by Larry McMurtry. Apparently this book is amazing. Apparently there is a killer movie that they adapted from this book. Larry McMurtry helped write it, apparently. And so I'm excited to read this one because I've heard it's great. It's not too long either. What is this? 300 pages. Nice and short for Larry McMurtry. He can make a book fly by for me. So I've heard this, again, I heard this great. I'm pretty excited to read this, and I don't know what it's about. I think it's about growing up in a small town. Apparently it's based off of Larry McMurtry's small town. He got literally exiled from his town, and they all hated him for writing this book, and I've heard it's very honest. Main carrying thing loved it, and that's kind of why I bought it, because I love Larry McMurtry, and I heard this is great, so I'm got my name written all over it. Okay, next here we have this. There's a decent bit of the Last Picture Show books. There's The Last Picture Show, and then there's a sequel to it, Texasville, and then I think this is the third book in the Last Picture Show series, which is Dwayne's Depressed, which is a funny name. I know nothing. I genuinely don't know what this book is about. I was just like, I'm gonna read this at some point after I read the Last Picture Show in Texasville. So I bought it for $1, not $4. That's a lie. I bought it for cheaper because I'm so special. But this is I don't know what it's about, but I'm gonna read it at some point. Oh my god. The final Larry McMurtry book is Rhino Ranch by Larry McMurtry. Who would have thought? This is... God, I don't even know. Dude, I think this is the 4th or 5th book in the Last Picture Show series. We got our boy Larry at the back there. I don't know what this is about. Maybe it's about rhinos and a ranch. Bro, I don't know. I knew I would read it at some point. This is where the chronic aspect is really in its full shine. That's my Larry McMurtry stack. I love my boy Larry. Okay, last pile, and then we are done. Last pile. Okay, I'm going to start off at the bottom here with... I'm going to save the best for last. Not really the best, just the best in the stack for last. So first off, we have You by Caroline Keepneys. I'm sorry. I butchered that. I'm really sorry. I have watched the TV show. I'm on season 3 right now of You, and it's pretty good. There's some parts where I'm like, I don't know why that's in there, and I don't know. There's like some writing things where like they flail around the beginning. I don't know. It still entertains me quite a bit, and it's pretty good. So I wanted to read the book. This is basically season 1 in the book, and I'm waiting to read this thing because I still remember season 1 pretty well. So I don't want to remember it too well, then it's just boring. But Stephen King said it was good, and I love Stephen King, and the show, season 1, was really solid. And so I want to read this at some point. So, yeah. And I want to read the whole series, too, because I heard it deviates, so I want to see the other Joe Goldberg stories and everything. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm straight, but I think Joe Goldberg is really hot. I don't know. Fight me on it. I'm going to read this at some point, and that is You by Caroline Keeps. It's about basically the stalker, Joe Goldberg, who basically kills people to date this girl, Beck, and that's what this book is about. And it's good. It's a thriller. It's kind of like a violent twist, I guess, on like the classic rom-com, and I like it. I think it's good. Okay, my camera's overheating again. Yay. Also, I said Joe Goldberg was hot. I don't think he's hot because he kills people. If that's what you're wondering, I swear I'm not a stalker either. I don't condone that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to cover the bottom here because I kind of stole this from school library. Anyways, this is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Bro, I said that wrong. I said most of this shit wrong, but it's okay. Forgive me, please. I don't know much about this book. I just know that it's kind of like dystopian future where I think they like genetically like grow babies in a lab or something. I actually don't know. But I intend to read this at some point. I was very gung-ho on reading it like a while ago, and then I kind of changed my mind. But I intend to read it at some point, and then eventually return it to the school where it belongs. I should probably read it before I graduate, though. That's probably a good idea. Okay, next up here, we have Elmore Leonard. Okay, I don't know why I got so excited there, but I've read 40 Lashes, last one, and that was pretty good. Kind of a silly Western thing. Elmore Leonard is like a popular Western author, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But I read 40 Lashes, last one. That was pretty good. It was good. Like I wasn't like that, you know. It was good. But this is like a 2-in-1 book. So there's 40 Lashes, Less Ones, and Gun Sights. And so Gun Sights is the other one in here that I haven't read. Honestly, don't know when I will read it or if I will. I probably will at some point. Far future. Not anytime soon, really. But 40 Lashes, Less One was good. I don't know if Gun Sights is gonna be that amazing. It might be. Who knows? But we'll see. I really don't have plans to read this anytime soon. But yeah. Okay. There's one more book that I completely forgot about. And that is Pat Conroy's South of Broad. I heard this book is great. Ian Gooley loved it. Dude, that's like half the stuff I say. Ian Gooley loved it. But, man, I heard this book is really good. And it sounds so interesting. It sounds like a very literary book. From what I heard, it takes place in like Charleston, South Carolina, I believe. And it's about like, these like kids who get AIDS, I think. I don't really know what the premise of it is. But just the way Ian Gooley described Pat Conroy's books sounded like something I would love. It sounded like just contemporary literary fiction at its finest, and I'm really hoping it is. My mom also bought this too when she FaceTimed me for the Tim O'Brien for the Things I Carried, and she was so interested in this book that she was like, "Dude, Nathan, I'm gonna read this. Like, I'm gonna take it from you and read it." And I was like, "Go ahead, Mom. Like, you're gonna read it." That's why I forgot about it. It was in her room because she's been reading it. But oh, look at those ruffled pages. But I've been really meaning to read Pat Conroy for a bit. So I'm really excited to read South Abroad because I've heard this book is great, and I heard Pat Conroy is great. And if he's good, I love having another author that I really love. And so I'm excited to read this bad boy. I really want to read it soon. Probably when my mom's done reading it, I'm probably gonna read it pretty quickly after that. It'll be nice because I have a book to talk about with my mom. So. Oh, my mom was also really excited because she recognized from the cover that this was Charleston because she's like obsessed with Charleston, and so she was like, "Oh, it takes place in Charleston." Like, Nathan, I know these street names. I've been there before a long time ago. I was like, "Okay, Mom." I was like, "Oh, sweet." So yeah, she's been reading that, hence her bookmark. But yeah, that is, I forgot. So this one has been thrown in here somewhere in the video. Okay, back to previous Nathan. Yeah, previous Nathan. Someone knows what that means. Next up here, this was something I was really excited about. I got this also when I bought Stoner. If you've seen my Stoner video, go watch that. It took more work than I'd like to admit. Anyways, this is Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I freaking love Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 451 is probably my favorite book, tied with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And he's become one of my favorite authors, even though that's the only book I've read by him. I've read like a few short stories by him too. But this is like a Halloween spooky book. I know there's a carnival in here. Evil clown, bro. I don't really know. There's like kind of a horror circus in here. But I love Ray Bradbury's writing. I love his messages. I love how, I don't know, he feels so positive and optimistic. And I really like his books. I really do. Or his one book that I read. But I've been meaning to read this for a while. And I found it in the wild. And I've never been able to find it in the wild. So I'm really excited to read this. Bought this bad boy for $1. I think I'm going to wait until October, spooky season, to read this bad boy, because it is a very, usually, it's a little spooky book. So I want to wait till the proper season to, fully consume this literature in its best setting. Okay, next up here we have, this is possibly one of the ugliest covers I think I've ever seen, but we have All Quiet on the Western Front. This is just a horrendous cover, dude. I found this in one of those like book boxes, like where it's like the little book library cases around town. I was on a run and I saw this and I was like, I heard this book is good. Or there's a kid in my class who was really into this book at the time, and so I was like, I'll read it. I read like 20 pages when I was sick, and I felt like garbage when I was reading it, and it was so depressing, or I could tell it was going to get depressing, that I was like, I can't read this right now. I'm too sad. So I put it down. I still have DNF'd it. But at some point I'm going to read this. I have to look into if this translation is good or not. I know you might laugh at me because of my poor choice of translation with Dostoevsky, but don't judge the hypocrite, man. Come on. Honestly, this cover makes me laugh every time I look at it because it's pretty bad. But I know this is just about war. I think it follows, from the beginning I read, it follows like these German kids, or really young adults who enlisted in the war. And I know it's about I'm pretty sure it's a war novel, and about how bad war is typically. I'd hope. No, I don't know. But I heard this is great. I heard it's a classic, so I gotta read this bad boy at some point. Okay, we got 2 more books to go. Bear with me here. We have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This picture has nothing to do with Frankenstein, but, it looks pretty. Got this bad boy from my girlfriend because she had a teacher who was giving away books. She was moving or something. And so she picked up Frankenstein. She's like, do you want this? I was like, sure. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to read Frankenstein anytime soon. I'm not really that interested in reading it right now, but I know at some point it probably will be. It has a really small font, and I just don't know if I want to subject myself to Frankenstein yet. I know it's very wordy, Victorian era written. This is a pretty old book, too, like 1840s, I believe, something like that. And I don't know if I'm ready to dive into that. Classics for me are really dense, and they take a lot of brain power. And I have to really want to read the classic to get a lot out of it. And so I'm not in a mood to read this one anytime soon. I don't think I will, because I don't want to subject myself to it yet. But at some point, I probably got to get around to it. But this is honestly probably at the very bottom of my TBR. And if everything in this list, this is probably the most bottom. And I know some people are going to be upset about that, because a lot of people say Frankenstein is great. But I just don't know if it's going to be for me. Maybe it will be, but I'll got to read it at some point. But I'm gonna take my time on that. Okay, last one. I think some people will be very, very excited about this one if they've read it or if they know what it is. And that is, I love this. I love the cover of this one so much. I found this at a little bookstore. I've not seen this cover before, and I really like it. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I have read a few John Steinbeck books recently. I read The Moon is Down. That book was great. It was a little short book. Underrated, bro. I don't hear people talking about it enough. It was really good. And I read The Pearl. I thought it was better than The Pearl. I know Pearl gets a lot of attention. Bro, give The Moon is Down some hype. It was really good. I've read Of Mice and Men too. I need to reread it though, because that was a while ago. East of Eden is considered to be his magnum opus, his best work ever, one of the best books ever. And I believe it, because John Steinbeck is a really good author. And I don't doubt that he could craft a freaking excellent story. Apparently, this is a retelling of Cain and Abel, which is really interesting. I literally read like the first few pages and like literally there's characters named like Adam, like freaking from the Bible, and I was like, that's actually hype, dude. I heard this is like it follows a few generations too, and like people say the characters are great, and I so badly want to read this. It's like 800 pages, but a lot of people say it flies by. I kind of believe it. John Steinbeck, again, really good author. So I'm really excited to read East of Eden at some point. I would like to read The Grapes of Wrath first, and then read East of Eden. You know, my weird thing of wanting to read people's magnum opuses last. I don't know why sometimes I stop myself from reading authors' best works because I want to like work my way towards it, but I don't know if that's really an amazing way to go about it. Who knows? We'll see. I do want to read Grapes of Wrath first and then read this, but I'm really excited to read this book. And yeah, that is all of the books on my shelf that I have not read. My everything TBR. I guess kind of my summer TBR, but my everything TBR. Some books in here I do want to read more than others. Right now I'm actually reading A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I think I said that wrong, like usual. Hold on, I have the cover of the dust jacket in here. I took off the dust jacket because I didn't want to mess it up. But I'm reading this bad boy. I am like, what am I? I'm 175 pages in. It's a bit of a long one, like 500, 450 pages, something like that. So I guess technically this is my TBR because I haven't finished it too. But I've been reading this one consistently. So this is about dude, Count Rostov. He is basically sentenced to live in this hotel in Moscow for the rest of his life instead of being killed because he's higher class. They're freaking communists. So we don't like that, man. We don't like aristocracy, or however you say it. This book has been good so far. Probably a video talking about this, and I'm probably going to do a video like reading books for my TBR or something, so I guess watch out for that to see if you want to see what I think about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully, I intend to make videos here every week, at least this summer. So if you're interested in that, subscribe or no, it's up to you. Free will is cool. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will hopefully see you next week, and if any of this is interesting to you, I have other videos, so check those out if you want. Anyways, have a great day, have a great life, and yeah, live your life to its fullest. Yippee. Okay, bye. We took this trip to Rhino Ranch.